St. Patrick is famous for one thing, driving all the snakes out of Ireland. According to legend, the island used to be absolutely crawling with them. Venomous snakes, metaphorical snakes, maybe even a few two-legged ones. And St. Patrick made his life's mission to get rid of all of them. But here's the thing. St. Patrick's been dead for a very long time, which means I think it's finally time to bring the snakes back. Unfortunately, my budget doesn't quite cover releasing thousands of snakes into Ireland, so instead we're doing the next best thing. In Crusader Kings III, we're bringing back Paganism. Starting in 1066, the plan is simple: unite Ireland, conquer the entire Atlantic archipelago, take the reclaimed Britannia decision, and then revive and reform paganism before the Christians inevitably call a crusade and try to wipe us off the map. So the question is, can we bring snakes back to Ireland and keep them there? Let's find out. First, we reset our stats so we can quickly gobble up the lands of Ireland by persuading most of the rulers to bend the knee. Before we even unpause the game, we secure some useful allies to help future conquests. The most important one is the children of the William the Conqueror, since we could eventually use their claims to take all of England in a single war. Once Dublin was under our control, we began promoting culture there in hopes of creating a hybrid culture with Norse. This would give us access to Malevolent Invader, and if we adopt Northern Germanic heritage, we could also unlock a dynastic legacy that allows us to convert to other faiths for even cheaper. By 1068, we had already secured the lands and funds needed to become King of Ireland. This allowed us to vassalize the remaining rulers we needed. After the coronation, a slight misunderstanding with some vassals who thought I was being tyrannical. It is an act of tyranny, but let's find out if he'll do it to us. I can manage things from here. It looks like a number of our vassals are rising up against us, which is not very nice of them. But that is free money, and we can also call in all of our powerful vassals. It was time to focus on uniting the rest of the kingdoms. First, we forced the Isles into vassalization through conquest. While the war was underway, we also started befriending the Pope to more easily gain access to money. Such a pleasure. Unfortunately, we did not befriend him. That's tough, but he will still give us gold when we ask for it, which would become invaluable later on as he began sending us hundreds of piles of gold every few years. With a strong foothold in Scotland, it is time to move over to Wales, especially before the English could take control there. We pressed a claim to seize one of the Welsh duchies, then simply asked the remaining rulers to bend the knee, making us king of two kingdoms. By 1084, we had tributized the Scots and begun scheming against the English. William had recently passed, and we wanted to help usher his son into the afterlife as well. That would also allow us to press our grandchildren's claim on the English throne, eventually claiming it for ourselves. 58 years young, he looks a rough 58, but I guess it is the medieval age, so, you know, anything's possible. To prevent further raids on our lands and gain more Norse culture counties, we decided to attack Iceland and bring them under our banners. In 1089, we finally met the requirements to add religious blending to our culture traditions, though it would take 13 years to fully spread. How's the Norse hybridization coming? Swell, actually. Absolutely fantastic. We're not gaining a lot of movement on the murder. After 10 long years and several conspirators and thousands of gold spent, we eventually gave up on trying to remove William the Red from his mortal coil. We are also cursed, or maybe blessed, with only granddaughters from our heirs lineage. Thankfully, after the mysterious death of their mother, they all inherited claims on England. We focused on developing Usul, who seemed to be the best of the bunch. She ended up being temperate, eccentric, and most importantly, cynical, which allows us for cheaper religious conversions. The rest were made to take a vow so that they would cause no problem during succession. By 1100, it was time to say goodbye to the King of Ireland and Wales and say hello to the new King of Ireland and Wales. We held another coronation, worked to stabilize the realm. Once again, we began plotting against King William II, though with little hope of success. I want it to happen. I need it to happen, but it's not gonna happen, you know? With succession, we had lost our foothold in Scotland, along with our control of them as tribute. Still, we would bide our time until we were able to strike again. Now we are. Unfortunate. Let's Let's go torture our sister. First things first, we torture our sister again. By 1108, Usul finally ascended to the throne and we started making real moves. Her first act as queen is to secure an alliance to prepare for trials and tribulations ahead. Naturally, the next step is holding a coronation so everyone recognizes her rule. While preparing for the future, we also checked the cost of converting to paganism. Somehow it had dropped to a mere 250 piety. Some math is going wrong here, but we could become a pagan right now if we wanted to. I don't think that's the smart move, but now the character is in play. Good job. Down from 1 million to 250,000 and now just 250. That's some truly wild paradox math that I don't understand, but I'll happily take it. By 1111, it was finally time to take down William II and claim the throne of England. However, the war quickly became more complicated when devastating plague began sweeping through Ireland. We ended up losing not one, but 2 husbands to disease, which makes things even harder since they had been serving as our generals against the English forces. Marry ourselves off matrilineally to a decent commander. I know that's insane to have done that, but he is really good, and I need to win. Be cautious. We'll use him for 1 battle and he dies. Frozen grief or in appetite? What does frozen grief do again? Moderate. In appetite is not a debilitating thing. We win the battle. At least. Jesus. Okay. Thankfully, by 1114, we had finally broken the English resistance and were able to sue for peace, taking all of England in one single stroke. The real question now is whether we'll be able to actually hold on to all the newly conquered territory. Unfortunately, we don't have enough money to form this. Before long, rebels began breaking out. First came the Cornish rebels, who eventually managed to wipe peace. Soon after, a Welsh peasant uprising erupted, but that one we crushed pretty quickly. While both of those rebellions were happening, we may have accidentally possibly killed our husband in hopes of securing better alliances and some improved stats. Unfortunately, the realm did find out about it. Yikes. In 1120, the queen was just finishing up a pilgrimage to Canterbury when yet another rebellion broke out, this time in the north led by Duchess Githa. Turns out she was a tactical genius and routed our army several times. As the old adage goes, if you want something done right, you have to get your hands dirty. So we switched both our lifestyle and our husband's support to martial, allowing us to finally bring the rebels to heel. It also helped that our Holy Roman Empire allies showed up with strong commander, the Emperor himself. In the middle of the Civil War, we managed to snag the Empire of Britannia, which was promptly renamed to Alba thanks to Irish culture. And with us becoming an empire, you know what that means, more coordinations. Honestly, this run has felt like just one long series of coordinations. To set ourselves up for success, we looked at the holy sites required to reform paganism. And wow, these have to be some of the most spread out sites in the entire game. The 3 we targeted were in Germany, Estonia, and Egypt. The other 2 options were all the way in India. While fabricating the claims on those 3 sites, we also took the Scottish throne, bringing us one step closer to being able to take the Reclaim Britannia decision. Wildly enough, while taking the North Sea Isles from a Norwegian vassal, we somehow lucked our way into owning all of Norway. That's the king of fucking Norway? Oh my god. We own it now? What the fuck? Okay. Turns out Norway was in the middle of a civil war, and the man who won it was our vassal, meaning he automatically remained under our thumb. That we were finally able to reclaim Britannia for the Irish culture. And if I'm being completely honest, it's a pretty underwhelming decision. All it really does is change the capital's culture to your characters and gives you 10 years of easier culture promotion. It's not exactly a great payoff for all the work we put into it. We wanted to spread culture, it would take 9 years. Or no, 6 years here. So we'll do that, I guess, which is such not a deal. But we have reclaimed Britannia. We own far too much land. By 1136, we found ourselves at war with the Duke of the Delta, fighting for a crucial holy site he controlled. Once again, we called upon our HRE to bring their massive armies down on their relatively small force. 2 years later, we were fighting in the Baltic against the Kingdom of Estonia, once again for another pagan holy site. And our true allies, the HRE, were right there beside us helping. Unfortunately, the final site we needed was under the control of the emperor himself, so we did what any good ally would do. We invited him to a feast to celebrate our recent victories. In reality, it was a perfect opportunity to remove him. The plan went off without a hitch. All we had to do was poison his wine, and no one was the wiser. With the empire scrambling to stabilize under its new ruler, we swooped in and seized the county we needed in the heart of Germany. Now we could finally convert to paganism and reform the faith before anyone had the chance to attack us and seize one of our precious holy sites. That is exactly what we did in 1143, much to the chagrin to most of our vassals. Astrology, sanctity of nature. Like, not great overall, but the point of this run is not whether or not paganism is great. It's all about reforming it. The following year, the Reformation was complete, and we chose fitting forest green color for the new faith. So that's the end of the run, right? Well, not quite. We still needed to spread the faith across the realm. Can we invite him to court? Yes, we can. Will he take a conversion? He will. What's his thing? He wants to write a book. Guess what? That's great for him. I'd actually rather him do this. So it's going to take 31 months to get everything done there. The best way to do that is by starting a legend. At tier 2, the Holy Legend allows you to evangelize the realm decision, which rapidly converts large swaths of land. It's perfect for this situation, though it takes quite a lot of time and money to set up. By 1154, we finally were able to take the decision and had a huge amount of territory converted. Still, we decided to run it back with another legend just to cement the pagan dominance across the Isles. We need to survive a whole year. Can we do it? While we were working on the next legend, something unexpected happened. A great holy war was declared upon us, not by the Catholics, but by the Shia Caliphate. Strangely enough, it was called for France, even though they didn't border them at all. Before we could properly react, our dear Empress died at the 11th hour, just before her life's work could fully flourish. While focusing on our goal, we also realized that our daughter had never converted to paganism and had remained insular. Thankfully, we caught that before taking the evangelized decision again. We tried to convert her, but of course, we were still stuck in the middle of that jihad for France. So we did the only sensible thing, immediately surrender, handing most of France off to the Shia forces. The land ended up split between Burgundy, Valois, and Berry. I'm not entirely sure how the AI decided that, but I couldn't afford to get distracted by side quests. By 1159, the new empress had finally switched her faith and was able to evangelize the realm one last time. After 90 years of struggle, we finally brought the snakes back to the Celtic lands. Going from 0 pagan counties to 105 is no small feat, and splitting up France was just the cherry on top. Lands are pagans once again, and because of that, we're gonna go out on a high and die. Bing, bada boom. We're this Czech emperor for some reason. Oh my god, what a silly run. It took us, how many rulers did it take? Really, it was this one, our bad bitch of Britannia or Alba. I guess depends if we're looking back. Irish, and is he Czech or Irish? He's Czech and Catholic. So that was so silly. How long did she rule? 9 months? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But yeah, there you go. That's how you do it, chat. You can easily become pagan within Crusader Kings III as long as you have the cynical trait. Having the cynical trait plus your culture has religious blending, and then just all you need after that is the apostate perk, and you'll be able to become pagan. Simple as that. To reform it, you'll just need the 3 holy sites that are within your region, which this must be the most spread apart holy sites, right? Mr. Patrick, Saint Patrick would be unhappy beyond words to see paganism make a resurgence, especially in Ireland, with the north still being insular is funny, but the rest of the lands are firmly pretty much converted except for a handful here and there. But yeah, and parts of Norway. Jesus, so silly that Norway spread like that. But yes, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so very much for watching this little run. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe try it out for yourself. Like I said, paganism, not that hard to convert to. Who knew that a million piety isn't actually necessary and all you need is 250. If you liked our channel, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, have a good rest of your day. Ciao.